What's up guys, it's CG. So this is going to be a thorough review of Rose 31 by the House of Labo. First I'm going to give you guys a rundown so you have a general idea what the fragrance is about. Then I'm going to share how users rated the scent profile and the performance. My wife and I are going to share our impressions of it. And finally I'm going to share my overall opinion having worn it. Without further ado, let's get this started. Alright, so this scent is very unique. It's rose blended with spices. It's a very spicy rose fragrance and it has prominence of rose and cumin. Somebody once wrote in a review that somebody dropped roses in my nachos and I love it. It's a very polarizing fragrance. It's not for everybody for sure, but I absolutely love this one. The notes listed on their website are centifolia rose, cumin, olibanum, cedar, amber, guaiac wood, cistus, and musky notes. Now I show the data just to give you guys an idea that there's a lot of subjectivity here. I really love this fragrance. My personal rating for it would be a 10, but the overall rating is a 7.6, which is pretty low on Parfumo, and you can see a lot of polarization on the rating distribution. 53% of people would give it an 8 or above, and about 1 of 5 people would give it a 6 or lower. Definitely not for everybody, even though I love it. Unfortunately, longevity also got a relatively low score of a 7.3. That's low compared to other fragrances on the website. The most common score was a 7. 42% of voters gave it a 7. My personal rating would be a 6. It is pretty expensive, so it's a little frustrating when it doesn't really last, but it's not horrible. I would say I get about 4 hours out of it. Again, Sillage, a low score. 42% of voters would give it a 6 or lower. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6 here. Doesn't really push out, but it's more of a personal, intimate scent. So as a fragrance reviewer, I'm going to let you guys know it's not my goal here to have some divine taste or have some opinion that everybody should look up to. And if I say it's good, it must be good. I love this one, but it's very personal to me. I can let you know if something is polarizing, and I'll let you know that Rose 31 is a very polarizing scent. To describe what I get from it, the actual first time I smelled Rose 31, it was a no for me. And the reason it was a no is I was just hit with the smell of Indian food almost. And I haven't even eaten Indian food that much. I don't know how my memory made that association, but the type of spice that Rose 31 was for me reminded me of what it would be like to be inside of an Indian restaurant. Because spice can mean a lot of things, but my brain instantly jumped and made that connection. And then there's Rose that was in there freshening it up. And the first time I smelled it, I was just like, this is just a bit too weird for me, a bit too off. But fortunately, I put my sample aside and gave it time and came back and revisited it several times because I really do love the House of Labo. I know it's like one of the houses that a lot of people just don't like. Some people think they just make things that smell like candles that aren't wearable. It's very personal, but I really love the house. They have a high batting average for me. I find their scents very calming, very close to nature, and very unique, very different for colognes and for fragrances that you wear. So I revisited Rose 31, and honestly, it just, at some point, it just really hit for me. It was such an acquired taste. What I get from it now is rose, and I don't like rose, and I don't like cumin. So it's very interesting that the two notes that I don't like are together in this, but I end up loving them in combination, blended well. What I get though is that rose, and that rose is very almost dewy, almost wet, almost like watery rose freshness. Mixed with that, again, that almost Indian spice kind of smell with cumin in it. In the beginning, it's very fresh and it's very spicy. And honestly, it smells pretty good. Like, I brought this to work and showed it to people. And even my friends that are into more like designer type things actually like this one off of paper. My wife liked it. I like it. It does smell good. It's just a bit weird and it can be a bit off-putting to have that type of combination. It's not something I've really smelt in anything else before. But what I get from it is spraying it on my wrist and then running on a treadmill, which is one of the ways I test fragrances. I'm listening to my music, I'm in my own zone, and I get to smell it. And when I was smelling it while running, I was just getting this perfect combination of almost femininity and masculinity, and it's so in the middle. Almost that cumin was giving it, to an extent, like a body odor smell with that spice that was very masculine. But then to keep it from going too stinky or too body odor or too weird, you had this rose that was just keeping it really fresh. And these two sides of the fragrance were like dancing in perfect unison. And it was just creating a scent profile that I could just smell and just really take in and absolutely love everything about it. As it dries down, that rose starts to dial back more, and you're left with kind of like, I want to say it's like a body odor smell, I'll be honest here, but it's so addictive. Something that I just couldn't stop smelling. This is like one of those scents that almost gives you a natural body odor smell that just smells really good. It's almost to some extent like a skin enhancer. Like this person just naturally smells good rather than they're wearing a cologne kind of vibe. Do I think this one's for everyone? Absolutely not. I think some people just won't like it, just simply won't like it. Do I think it's worth trying if you've been around fragrances for a while and you want something different, you want a curveball thrown at you? I think it's absolutely worth trying in those scenarios. If you're looking for crowd pleasers, things that really project or push out, probably can skip this one, at least for now. But I do love it. It's one of my favorites. Like even in my top 7 of all time video, people asked, how does it change? This is one I would maybe even add and make it in my top 8. Like I really love this scent profile, but that's so personal to me. And there was a time I didn't like it, so it's such an acquired taste sort of thing. And to add here, on the note of rose, it's one of those things where I needed a little dirty to really like it. Like the only other rose fragrance I really like is Arabian Oud Royal Oud, or even just Middle Eastern rose ouds in general, where they have that animalic with the rose. Then I can do it. Rose is a very hard no for me because I can't escape the femininity mental association with it. Like I love Portrait of a Lady, I love Atomic Rose, but I struggle wearing those types of fragrances. And that's just memory association that's personal to me. But it seems like if rose is with something dirty, like an animalic oud, or in this case, like spices and cumin, then I can get with rose.
Labo Rose 31. Rose? I understand the rose here, but it's not what you would expect of a rose fragrance. It is very good. Like, I do like it. But I think this is not that it's not masculine, but for some reason it does not make me think of... It does not transmit a lot of energy, a lot of like, you know, up and about and let's go do this, do that. This is more like a wind down scent. Like, okay, you know, we're home, I'm showered, I'm gonna spray this before hanging out at the house, watching a movie. It smells really relaxing, like a rose tea type of thing. So I like it. I like it if I was to snuggle next to somebody in a lounge, in the house, and this was your scent, I would probably snuggle more because you smell good and relaxing. So I like it. I'm gonna give it 6.
So Rose 31 is for me, but the lack of performance and the price is frustrating. If I let go of it in the future, it's likely gonna come down to it's expensive for something that really doesn't push out and doesn't last that long, and I find myself not really reaching for those fragrances. I'm hoping that this is like a personal, intimate enjoyment type fragrance, because I sometimes ask myself, do I really want to project this even? Or is this more of a thing I wear just for personal enjoyment when I'm going out and I want something close to the skin that's intimate, that's addictive to me? Because, you know, filling the room with rose and cumin is not really something I desire. That being said, it is for me. I'm going to keep wearing it and enjoying it and loving it for what it is. If I let go of it in the future, it's going to come down to that performance issue. Feel free to comment with y'all's opinions, subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.